Hello everyone, my name is Yogdog and welcome to some Spellforce Conquest of Eo. We're going to be playing this game on YouTube, but I've also played quite a lot of hours of this game on my Twitch channel. I have been really enjoying it, and it's been one of my very favourite games this year so far. 2023 has been pretty awesome, and this has been one of the games that's made it so awesome. So, we're going to be starting a new campaign, but I'm going to be using a custom mage. So I've tried out alchemists and artificers on my Twitch channel. I've not tried necromancer, and I will give necromancer a go eventually, but I want to try a custom mage out. So we have alchemy, necromancy, artificing. So alchemy. Be an alchemist and master of the bottled elements. Brew potions and concoctions to support your troops in combat. You will need large quantities of ingredients to keep your cauldron bubbling. You're able to deal with every situation having the right potion at hand. So we could be a necromancer, an artist of life in death. Harvest souls from the bodies of the fallen to create your army of the dead and flood the lands with your creations. You'll have bigger armies than anyone else, but rotten flesh does not heal easily. Or an artificer, a creator of magical items. Craft glyphs and artifacts to provide your troops with a multitude of different improvements, turning them into powerful entities. Or is your most important objective, as every magical item is made from it. I think we're going to go with that. Now. Our primary school of magic. We have Death, Earthmaster, Enchantment, Guardian, Mentalism, and Nature. So it's probably not going to be Death. Earthmaster probably will be the one I go for. Summon and improve fantastical monsters, enable your troops to reach remote places with ease, and research new spells faster. Guardian. Lives of your followers are your first priority, so do everything in your power to keep them alive and healthy. Protect and strengthen your troops, bring light to the world, and defend against the dark arts. It's probably going to be Earthmaster Guardian, one of the two. Manipulate the local population into loving you. I mean, mentalism is useful, but I don't know if it's quite what I'm looking for as our first magic school. And then we have nature. Even the plants bow to your will. Bend flora and fauna to your will. Bolster your ranks and improve your troops. We're going to go with Guardian as primary. Earthmaster is secondary. So I think we're basically just doing an artificer start here, but it's nice to go through and check what is available as a custom mage. So we have various different start locations here. We've got Golden Fields, Alluvion, Dracot, Gillyshire, and Misty Coast. So Golden Fields is probably the easiest one. Fanatics of New Purity extend their grip here. Enemies are religious fanatics and beasts. There's a diverse flora there. Dracot. Deep in the northern Windwall Mountains, the dwarves there are busy mining precious metals. Recent events have been an uprising of the Granite Dwarf faction. We're going to go with Dracot because ore is abundant here. And that's going to be very useful for us as an artificer, making new artifacts, glyphs, etc. So it very much links into our playstyle there. Our difficulty is just going to be Explorer. I find that this game is actually quite hard. Even on Explorer, it can often be really difficult to actually, once you get into the mid-game, to actually keep up with the other mages. So I'm going to stick on Explorer, and I think that suits my playstyle pretty well. I tend to like having time to explore the game, immerse myself in the universe which we're playing in. So Explorer would be great for us. I'm not sure whether there's anything else. Yeah, there's nothing else we can change anyway. So we'll do Explorer. I will try a more difficult difficulty, I suppose, at some point in the future. But for the purposes of this one, we're going to go with Explorer difficulty. Plus, with the area we're in, it's not going to be the easiest of starts anyway. Alright, so I will be reading through everything. So when a message from your master told you he had discovered a way to channel the Allfire and urged you to come to his tower, you quickly gathered your entourage and set out. The letter contained little more than his note and a small flute, exquisitely carved and bearing your master's sigil. He seemed to fear running afoul of the Circle of Mages, the most powerful covenant of magic users on Eo. His tower, now before you, bears signs of a terrible battle having raged there. So, the start of the game is going to be similar no matter what start you use. We will need to go back to our master's tower here with our small stack we start with. So the corpses and debris marking the fight inside the great hall of your master's tower fill you with grief for him. Instinctively, your hands go to the flute he sent you with his letter. You trace the fine carvings with your fingers, and memories of your time here flood your mind. Suddenly, the flute seems to hum and vibrate, and a small sound emanates from it. The sound morphs into a flute melody, and, with it, shadowy images slowly begin to appear across the hall. Figures take form, becoming more solid, and taking the shape of two groups facing each other, weapons drawn. You see your old master leading one of the groups. This must be the battle for the tower. So I won't be completing the combat tutorial. We already know what happened. Our master unfortunately did lose the battle. So impressions of the fighting still play on your mind as you slowly walk up the dented stairway. The tower, damaged and deserted, still retains your master's presence somehow, willing you onward. Whatever happened here will not be forgotten. You are sure there is more to discover. Your master was always adept at hiding his secrets, but you are determined to uncover them. You take stock. The entry hall's golden chandelier has been stolen, and its soft carpets are gone. Your master's tower is not just attacked, but also robbed, it seems. On closer inspection, there are several tracks out of the tower. Traces of torn fabrics and dropped cutlery lead to a goblin camp not far from here. So we need to go clear out the goblin camp here to the southwest. We gain the tower, and we have the radius around the tower now. So anything within range will be providing those resources eventually, but we still need to set up on that. I'm actually going to get a glyph smithy built in our tower. So over here on the top left we've got tower and inventory. We're just going to go for the glyph smithy to begin with because it's really important for crafting, which we want to start trying to do at ASAP. The study and workshop we will focus on getting eventually as well. And in our inventory we just have some ashes and a little bit of mountain copper to begin with. But let's use our stack, which consists of two goblins, goblin brawlers and one artificer minion, to go clear them out. So from the camp, you make out the loud and obnoxious squabbling of goblins. Appears they are fighting over loot from the tower, screaming at each other at the top of their lungs. Let's wait and watch. You watch and wait for the goblins to do even more damage to each other, but one tugs at another one's nose and points in your direction, screeching. Let's call out. So the goblins stop their screaming just long enough to stare at you, then fall over one another trying to flee the camp. We are not going to let them go, and we will manually fight this battle. So they also have two goblin brawlers, but they also have a goblin archer unit. But we have a unit of artificer minions which are tier 2. Our brawlers are tier 1 and exactly the same as theirs, including experience, but the artificer minions will be what we need to turn the tide here. So let's chuck ourselves into battle. And let's retake as much of the equipment we can for the Citadel. So if you want to speed up the turns of enemies, if you use spacebar, you can speed things along slightly in battles, which is pretty useful. So we're just going to advance with the brawlers and then use the minions to just skirmish a bit of range here. That's going to set the goblins on fire, the front goblin unit, which they take 10% of maximum health as elemental damage, and they get reduced willpower at the start of the unit's turn. So pretty nice to do. I'm just going to end turn, which automatically puts my goblins into guard mode, which is pretty useful. So they get plus 20% damage reduction. Okay. So I think we heavily weakened the left goblin unit here. That's going to set our units confident, which means additional damage. And our goblins very handily finish off the last of their brawlers. So now we just need to charge forward and deal with our archers. Which easily done. Victory is ours. That's our first battle completed. So it's a heroic victory. We gain a good luck charm, which is an ingredient for our artificing. We also get some rations. And we leveled up our 2 goblin brawler units. So we have speed and backstab. I think I'll go for backstab, plus 6 damage on flanking attacks. And we have lucky, which is great. Units always deal maximum damage. Really nice to get. We gain some glyphs. The lesser glyph of despair, lesser glyph cutthroat, lesser glyph grave robber. I think the cutthroat one is probably the most useful one here. But the death damage isn't too bad, really, I suppose. So as you turn to leave, a few goblins emerge from hiding behind one of the dirty tents. One of them, wearing a hood made of a torn silken cloth, waves excitedly at you. You! I remembers you! One of Master's pupils, yes, yes. We serves, Master, not like these shagrak here. He spits at the dead goblins emphatically. Bowing, he adds. We serves you now, yes, yes. You gives us shiny, we fights for you. Shows you where more Master's things is. The goblins point to 2 stacks of chests and sacks not far from where you stand. Okay. So we need to start going to collect those. So the goblin camp has been cleared, is now part of our domain. That allows us to actually recruit goblin units, which will be helpful. We don't have enough movement points left to collect the treasure stash just yet, but we will end turn there. Our glyph smithy is constructed. You wander the old familiar rooms of the tower, lost in memories of your time here as an apprentice. The place was clearly searched through before the goblins ransacked it. Your master's crafting room has been depleted, most of the other chambers ravaged. Whoever did this left no stone unturned. Buried beneath a toppled bookcase in your master's gutted library, you find his old grimoire. Reverently, you open the heavy tome. Many of its beautifully illustrated pages have been torn out, but you still see bits and pieces of your master's illegible script. He was always secretive about his arcane research, often writing in code. You look for the first spells he taught you, carefully flipping the large pages to one of the bookmarks attached to the spine. You can indeed make out some of the basics. Others you can almost decipher. You gaze around the room, imagining a treasure trove of arcane knowledge hidden among the scattered scrolls and torn books. A lifetime of magical study at your disposal. Right, so we initially need to start collecting the gold here. And that's going to allow me to build another building in our tower, specifically the workshop. The workshop is important is because it will give us a constant stream of gold each day, plus 3 gold, plus an additional crafting slot. So let's get that built. If we go into our grimoire, we need to craft some glyphs and artifacts, a few other bits. So we are going to go with, I think, Summon Enchanted Wisp first. The reason I'm going to go with Summon Enchanted Wisp is we can use it to meld with all fire nodes, which we don't have any visible at the minute, but when they are apparent I will highlight them. And that is used to generate resources for you. So, what else we got? We do have an enemy occupying the mine here. It's a unit of snow leopards. I'm just gonna automate this. We get roots, some bandages, and some translucent silk. And the cave is open to us now. No more movement points available, so I'm pretty safe just ending turn there. And I think we'll clear out the other snow leopard on the road here. And that's great because it's going to level up our goblin brawlers. Piercing attacks is great, ignores armor. Well, okay, it doesn't ignore armor, but it effectively means that you do a good amount of damage against armored enemies. So it's useful to have. And our other brawlers are going to give them some armor, so they're going to be a bit more survivable. And they're going to continue moving you to clear out this cave here next turn. Our research is completed on our first spell, so I will need to choose my second one soon. But we have another event. What are your next steps? The destruction of your master's tower must mean he uncovered something of the Allfire's secrets, which the Circle guards fiercely. You can restore the contents of his grimoire, but his tower needs rebuilding too. And if the Circle is behind his disappearance, you must expect them to come for you as well. Maybe they know of your discovery already. I will not let them stop me. So taking stock, or taking proper stock of your master's laboratory, you find very little more than empty vials and containers that have, like everything else, been searched through. It was certainly not the work of goblins. You can make out tracks of a cart leading to a nearby hamlet you passed on your way here. Did the villagers plunder the tower after it was abandoned too? So there is a hamlet just north of our tower, which we should go check. Some lesser ice golems. Well, we can just automate this fight. We get a twitching eyeball, lovely. Some roots and some fur. And we're going to head to the hamlet. So the village's inhabitants eye you with an air of hostility when you arrive. Children are called inside. Some of the villagers arm themselves with tools and sticks. Your band regards them cautiously in return. A burly, black-haired man brandishing a cudgel steps forward and says, "There is nothing for you here." Let's show him we mean no harm. The villagers barely budge, but after a moment, one of their elders steps forward, hesitantly. "We were afraid you would bewitch us. The old wizard's apprentice thought they would come after him and take back the items he gave us. We wanted to trade them in the city to buy clothes for our children." "I have no intention of harming you. Let's trade." "Trade? But we trade?" The elder stares at you, slow to collect himself and call out to his people. "The mage's troops are here to trade." As those around him begin to relax, he leans in to squint at you. "You're not playing a cruel trick on us? You really wish to trade for our goods?" Yes, trade. Is that so hard to fathom?" "It's just we humbly apologise for our behaviour. Now, what would you wish to trade for our goods? I'm going to trade some mana because I can easily replace that in comparison to gold. So we get a lesser glyph herbalist, we get some heatstone, or a heatstone, we get 3 mountain copper, we get sky iron, and a little bit of wheat. And plus 20 relations with an undiscovered faction. As you leave, you think about the apprentice the villagers kept speaking of. Perhaps you can find them. They may be able to shed some light on your master's fate. So the good thing about this is we now have hamlets within our domain, which is giving us a small amount of gold, which is good news for us. I need to think about probably recruiting another unit here. Maybe getting a goblin shaman would be a good idea. I want to clear out the mine here, but that's not going to be particularly easy, I suspect. There's a watchtower over here which is unexplored as well. But let's go pick up the mana stash first. I will need mana to cast spells. And there's a stash of it available here, which doesn't have any fighting in. So I may as well just go pick that up. Right, I think our next research is going to be aid. Aid will heal my troops over a turn. And mean that I'm much more able to prosecute battles more quickly. So aid will be a good choice here. So we're going to commit to doing that as our next research. Plus 10 mana, not too shabby if I don't say so. So the border post will allow me to hire dwarven sentries. That'll be pretty awesome when we actually expand our domain. So you can expand the domain radius of your tower. You just need to get some all fire and start expanding your mastery. It takes time to do so though. And I think we move you to the northwest, and we'll go see what this Dangerous Endeavours quest is as well. And we'll end turn there. Your master's missive spoke of an all-fire source he discovered not far from here. Now that you have established yourself in his tower, it is time to search for it. You eagerly scour his scribblings for any hints to the source's location. It must be close to the tower, else your master would not have set up his abode here. Eventually, you find the location noted in your master's grimoire. It is not even a day's walk from the tower. As many have found out to their detriment, no mortal may touch the all-fire without being consumed. The Circle only recently discovered how to master its power, and they will not teach their secret to anyone. But your master once described a theory of his, of a magical conduit. By summoning an ethereal creature to meld with the all-fire source and retaining the connection to it after it has been consumed, you may be able to channel some of the all-fire's power into yourself. A wisp may do the trick, an ethereal being often used by mages as scouts or messengers. So, there's two things we're going to need to do here. Number one is I need to clear out the hornets so I can actually access the all-fire node. And then I'm going to need to summon a enchanted wisp to actually meld with it. So I'm actually just going to do that straight away. And I'm going to start moving you over in a turn or two. In fact, I'll start moving you over now. We'll get you to wait here. It's going to take 2 turns to actually summon the wisp, which is fine. In the meantime, our workshop is built, so our gold income is increased to +4. Still only have +5 mana. We get more mana from all fire, so that'll increase when we actually meld here. I've got nothing else in range for a turn, so I think we just wait for 1 more turn. Ah, the Week of Aeonir. So we get +5 mana per day. That'll help. So not far from your tower, you spot a hooded figure watching you from a crop of trees. Is the Circle already aware of your presence here? Danger may be closer than you expected. You know the local militia holds a watchtower not far away. Perhaps you can acquire help there. It's actually in just the... oops. Misclicked there. Let's offer him some gold to join our ranks. So a bearded man in a dented breastplate scratches his head. We have a pretty good life out here. The Baron don't care what we do. The town pays our wages and no one bothers us. Your thing sounds like dangerous work. I'll pay him another 10 gold and we get some mole riders. Which are a nice tier 2 dwarf cavalry unit. Very happy to get this. So I think now we have this, start pushing in that direction. We've also finished our aid research, which is excellent. Let's go with the Well of Life. I've not actually seen that research before, so I want to know what it does. And we're going to kill the pests. We can just automate the battle. We get some level ups, including on our brand spanking new cavalry unit. I think melee damage would be nice. Yeah, some additional damage is always nice. Greedy is really good though. Additional gold from each battle on our goblins. I'm going to take that because it's going to be one of the main ways we're going to be getting loot early on. Is by taking as many battles as we can. And I'm going to take Looter for plus 30% more loot as well. Okay, so the Allfire draws you to it, singing its power singing to you. As tempting as it is, you know that outside the circle of mages, no one can touch it and survive. If you can summon a wisp, it could meld with the Allfire source and allow you to channel its energy. So we immediately will be able to do that. We can summon the wisp, send it over. Before you is the glory of the Allfire. Its raw, unbridled energy sings to you, resonating with every fibre of your being. You desire nothing more than to touch it, but you know it will destroy you. The wisp beside you hums slowly, resonating with the Allfire too. I think we give ourselves over to the Allfire's call. Tears stream down your face. You find yourself laughing with joy, with the sheer ecstasy of the power floating through you. But you cannot hold it in for more than a fraction of a second. You step back, hollow and weak, before it can sweep you away forever. It is no use. You simply do not have the means to do what the circle accomplished. You cannot connect to the Allfire directly. But we do get plus 5 mana. You barely manage to avert your gaze from the wondrous energy, so powerful is your desire to delve into the Allfire source. But you do restrain yourself, focusing instead on what can be learned from observing the meld. And that gives us plus 10 research as well. So now that our wisp is actually on the Allfire node, it's not the end. We do actually need to click the meld ability. That's going to take a couple of turns, but we'll get that done. And we need to probably send you back this way now. So bring our stack back into our domain. Late at night, a frantic rattling at the door wakes you up. From your window, you see a hooded figure nervously eyeing the path leading up to your tower. Spotting you, they frantically wave and shout, "Quick! Open up! In the name of our master! They're after me!" After quickly sliding through the doorway and locking the door behind him, a man slumps against the wall and breathes. "I pray they have not spotted my trail, or we may all be lost." Slowly catching his breath, he pulls down his hood. He's older than you thought, his beard already greying. "Apologies, where are my manners?" he mumbles. "I know who you are. Our master spoke very highly of you, but, no doubt, you wonder who I am." "I am Fulrian Ironbend. I studied to become an Earth Master of our late master," he says proudly. "Here is proof of my work with him." He hands you a number of densely scribbled pages. They revolve around working with various ores and metals and are marked several times by your master's hand. I must say, it is quite the tale. He takes a seat at the small table near the tower entrance. Do you want me to tell you everything? Or just what happened to our master's research after the circle came for him? I think we'll just skip to the end. So a day's journey from here, not far away, is a tower that the Circle's forces have long used as a base. I'm certain that is where they took the pages of our master's most valuable research. I managed to gather some of our master's former servants, but our forces are not sufficient to take on the Circle's minions. I implore you, please help me protect our master's legacy. I swear I will not fail him again. I will even offer you my services if you help me retake his research. Please. Together, we may best the Circle's forces. Our master's work must be preserved. So we're going to agree, and that's going to bring up a tower in the west we need to go clear out, but that will be for the next episode. Thank you very much for watching this new series on Spellforce Conquest of Eo, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed this first episode. If you want to catch me, I do stream on my Twitch channel every day from midday to 6 PM UK time, and Spellforce is often one of the games that I am playing at the minute. But that'll be that for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a lovely day. I'll see you another time.